Hello students, today's class is on Government of Indian Act of 1935. Let us know about the historical background of this act. As we know that British, they came to India as traders in 1600 in the form of East India Company. So this East India Company had exclusive right of trade in India under a charter. So that charter was granted by Queen Elizabeth I. See students, this East India Company captured political power in India after the Battle of Plassey in 1757. The Battle of Plassey took place in the year of 1757 between Siraj-ud-Dawla, Nawab of Bengal, with Mir Jafar, uncle of whom here, uncle of Siraj-ud-Dawla. So in this battle, British soldier Robert Clive helped Mir Jafar against Siraj-ud-Dawla for Nawabship of Bengal. So in this battle, Siraj-ud-Dawla was defeated and killed. So Battle of Plassey helped Robert Clive to extend British power in India. The East India Company had ruled India from 1757 to 1858. See students here, period between 1757 to 1858, so that period became notorious for corruption, exploitation as well as discrimination. Hence, Sipahi Mutiny took place in the year of 1857. That forced British government to transfer power from East India Company to the British Crown. Here British Crown means British government. So that was popularly called as the Crown Act of 1858. Students, some historians have described Sipahi Mutiny as first war of Indian independence. Next, in the year of 1885, so Indian National Congress was established by A.O. Hume. He was a retired British Indian civil service officer. So he founded Indian National Congress just to create platform for civil as well as political dialogue among educated Indians. So here our national leaders through Indian National Congress pressurized British government to meet the demands of Indians for independence. Finally, British government responded to the demands of Indians with the reforms initiated through various acts. See students, here acts passed by the British government classified into two types. One is acts passed during the time of company's rule, and second one is acts passed during the time of crown rule. In that, first one is acts passed during the time of company's rule. So here 1773 to 1858, so that period was known for company's rule. Here Regulating Act of 1773, Pitt's India Act of 1784, Charter Act of 1833, Charter Act of 1853. So these are examples for which one here? Examples for acts passed during the time of company's rule. See students, Regulating Act of 1773 that established Supreme Court in Calcutta in the year of 1774. Then Pitt's India Act of 1784 that introduced a system of dual government in India. Then Charter Act of 1833, this act for the first time introduced a open competition for civil servants in India. Then Charter Act of 1853, this introduced local representation in Indian Legislative Council. Then next one is here, acts passed during the time of Crown rule. See students here, period between 1858 to 1947, that was known as Crown rule period. Here, Government of Indian Act of 1858, Indian Council Act of 1861, 1892 and 1909, then Government of Indian Act of 1919 and Government of Indian Act of 1935 and Indian Independence Act of 1947. So these are examples for which one here, the examples for acts passed during the time of Crown rule. Let us study the features of few acts one by one. See students, next is Indian Council Act of 1909. See, this act is called as Morley-Minto Reforms. Students, here Lord Morley was Secretary of State of India and Lord Minto was Viceroy of India. So this act introduced a system of separate electorate for Muslims. That means as per this act, Muslim members were to be elected only by Muslim voters. Thus, the act justified communalism and Lord Minto came to be known as father of communal electorate. Students, see here, this act completely failed to fulfill the demands of Indians. So Congress, under the leadership of Gandhiji, started agitation for Swaraj. Here Swaraj means independence. So British government appointed Simon Commission in the year of 1927 to enquiry into the report of, which one here? Enquiry into the report of 1919. So here this commission headed by Sir John Simon as its chairman and consisted of 7 members. They were from British Parliament. This commission did not have even a single Indian as its member. So it was taken as a great insult for the self-respect of Indians. So Indians boycotted this and started agitation in the name of Simon Go Back. Finally, this commission in the year of 1929 announced that dominion status was the final goal of whom here? The final goal of the Indians. Here dominion status means independence was the final goal of Indians. After this incident, 3 round table conferences were held. First round table conference held in the year of 1930, Mahatma Gandhiji participated in that. Second round table conference held in the year of 1931, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar participated in that. Then in third round table conference held in the year of 1932, so Mahatma Gandhiji participated in that. The main outcome of these 3 conferences, first one is here, educational facilities and reservation in politics for depressed classes. Then second one is here a universal adult franchise system, and third one is here prohibition of social boycott. Next, fourth one is here a communal representation. Then next one is here the separate electorate for untouchables. See students, in the second round table conference, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar demanded for a separate electorate system for untouchables. But Gandhiji opposed this and he decided to fast unto the death. Finally, Congress leaders met Gandhiji and convinced him the resolution was modified by providing reservation to depressed classes instead of a separate electorate for untouchables. This was popularly called as Pune Pact. See students, here Pune Pact signed between Gandhiji and Ambedkar on September 24, 1932. After this, a white paper was prepared on result of all these 3 round table conferences. Here, white paper means a detailed document on particular topic. So that white paper was examined by Joint Select Committee of British Parliament, and in accordance with its recommendation, finally Government of Indian Act of 1935 was passed. See students, this is the historical background for which one here? Historical background for Government of Indian Act of 1935. Now come to the main topic, that is the Government of Indian Act of 1935. This act contained 321 articles and 10 schedules. The main provisions of 1935 Act are, the first one is here federation, second one is here distribution of power, the third one is diarchy at the center, and fourth one is here federal legislature, and fifth one is here federal court, and last one is here provincial autonomy. Let us study the features of these provisions one by one. In that, the first one is here federation. See students, this act provided for the establishment of Federation of India. This consisted of provinces of British India and princely states as its units. That means this act for the first time made an attempt to introduce federal government in India. Here federal government means two sets of government, that means division of power between center as well as provinces. Then second provision is here distribution of power. The Act of 1935 that divided legislative power between center as well as provincial legislature. There was threefold division. One is federal list, second one is here a provincial list, and third one is here concurrent list. See students, federal list consisted of 59 subjects like external affairs, currency, defense, etc. At present, in this list, total 98 subjects are there. Then next one is here provincial list. This list consisted of 54 subjects like police, education, etc. At present, in this list, 59 subjects are there. Students, please note here that education at present it is in the concurrent list. 44th Amendment Act of 1976 that transferred education from provincial list to which one here? Concurrent list. Then next one is here concurrent list. It consisted of 36 subjects like criminal law, civil procedure, marriage, etc. At present, in this list, total 52 subjects are there. Then next one is here residuary powers. See students here, the subjects which were not mentioned in the above three lists, they were come under the category of this list. So this list vested with the Governor General of India. Then next provision is here diarchy at the center. Students, the Act of 1919. The Act of 1919 means Montego-Chalmers-Ford reforms that introduced diarchy. Diarchy means dual government only in British provinces. But the Act of 1935, so that transferred diarchy to center also. Here, the entire executive authority vested with the Governor General. See here, there were two subjects. One is reserved subjects and second one is here transferred subjects. So, entire administration of reserved subjects was done by the Governor General with the help of whom here? With the help of Council of Ministers. Here, Council of Ministers were appointed by the Governor General. So, these Council of Ministers were answerable to the Governor General and not to whom here? Not to the legislature. And second subject is here the transferred subjects. Here, Governor General acted on the advice of the Council of Ministers. So these Council of Ministers were not answerable to the Governor General, but they were answerable to whom here? They were answerable to the legislature. Students, the next provision of 1935 Act is here Federal Legislature. The Federal Legislature was bicameral in nature, consisted of Council of States as well as Federal Assembly. Here, Council of States consisted of 260 members, of which 156 were elected from British India and 104 were nominated by the princely states. See here, British India means directly, provinces were directly under the control of whom here? Under the control of British government. The princely states means under the control of the king or queen. For example, Jammu and Kashmir, Junagadh, Hyderabad. So these are examples for which one here? The examples for princely states. The next one is here Federal Assembly. Federal Assembly consisted of 375 members, of which 250 were elected by the legislative assemblies and 125 nominated by the princely, the rulers of the princely states. See students, here the Council of States was a permanent house and 1/3 of its members retire after 3 years. There was bicameralism only in Bihar, Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Then remaining provinces adopted unicameralism. Then next feature of 1935 Act is here Federal Court. So this act for the first time provided for the establishment of Federal Court for India in New Delhi. So Federal Court was established in the year of 1937. So this court consisted of 1 Chief Justice and 6 additional judges. So this was the final court of India, and this court functioned for 12 years till its transformation into Supreme Court of India. So in 1950 by new or present constitution or under present constitution. See students, here the Act of 1935 introduced provincial autonomy only in 11 provinces. For example, in Madras, in Bombay, in Bengal, in United Provinces, in Punjab, in Bihar, in central provinces, in Assam, in northwestern frontier provinces, in Orissa and in Sindh. Here, the administration of provincial autonomy was looked after by whom here? After by the ministers. That means the administration was under the control of ministers. Here, the difference between reserved subject as well as a transferred subject, that was completely dropped, and all subjects were placed under the charge of ministers. With this, I am going to conclude this concept. Thank you students.